Chapter 17, question 123. An organic compound J reacts with sodium to produce an organic ion with a charge of -3. Then when J reacts with aqueous sodium hydroxide, it will produce an organic ion with a charge of -1. Now let's look at the answers. Okay, these are possible structural formula of J. Now, A, we have carboxylic acid, alcohol, carboxylic acid. B, carboxylic acid, alcohol, and aldehyde. C, alcohol, alcohol, carboxylic acid. D, alcohol, ketone, and aldehyde. So, these few functional group, okay, first one, carboxylic acid. Okay, then we have alcohol. Then we have ketone, then aldehyde. Okay, four types of functional groups in all the answers. So let's look at their reactions with sodium and also sodium hydroxide. Right. Now carboxylic acid can react with both. Alcohol can react with sodium but not sodium hydroxide. Ketone will not react with both. Aldehyde will not react with both. Alright. So that means we do not look at ketone and aldehyde functional group. Okay. Don't look at these two because they are not involved in the reaction. Now, what does it mean by organic ion with charge, negative charge? So, for example, okay, carboxylic acid, it can react with sodium. So, if I have a carboxylic acid, okay, reacts with sodium, so I'll get a carboxylate salt. Right, like this. Now, so this is an organic ion with a -1 charge. Okay, so if I have like two carboxylic acid functional group in the compound, okay, let's say I have CH2 here, then another COOH. So react with sodium, what will happen is I get COO negative, okay, CH2, then COO negative again. So this is an organic ion with -2 charge. Alright, so this is what it meant by organic ion with a charge of -3, -2, -1. Now let's look at what if I use sodium hydroxide. Okay, it will still be the same for carboxylic acid. Even if I use sodium hydroxide, I still get carboxylate salt like this. Okay, now let's look at alcohol. Now if I use alcohol can only react with sodium but it's not sodium hydroxide. So if I change this to alcohol, sorry, OH, yeah? So I will get a product with -1 charge also. Okay, it looks something like this now. Sorry, I missed out the H. Okay, so if it's alcohol, you get an organic ion with -1 charge also when they react with sodium. Okay, so I was just trying to explain why, okay, why negative charge when they react, because they form ionic salt with sodium or sodium hydroxide. Alright, now I'm going to erase all this. We now look at the answers one by one. Okay, let's look at A. Carboxylic acid, okay, alcohol, carboxylic acid. So if A is J, A will react with sodium to produce an organic ion with a charge of -3, which is correct because all these three functional groups, they can react with sodium. Okay, let's draw the structure. Okay, so this is a structure of J in answer A. So if react with sodium, right? So what do you get is you get a negative charge here, you get a negative charge here, get a negative charge here. So this is an organic ion with -3 charge. So reaction with sodium is correct. But what about reaction with sodium hydroxide? Now, reaction with sodium hydroxide, only carboxylic acid can react. Alcohol will not. So you will only get two negative charge on both ends, but there is no negative charge here because this remains as alcohol. So if A is the answer, J will react with sodium hydroxide to produce an organic ion with charge of -2, not -1. Right? So A is not the answer. Okay, let me cross this. Now B, we have carboxylic acid, alcohol, and then we have aldehyde. We know aldehyde will not react with any of these reagents, so you won't get negative charge here. Now reaction with sodium, these two will react. So you get -2 charge organic ion. Sodium hydroxide, only carboxylic acid can react, alcohol will not. Therefore, is -1 charge. So B is not the answer also because you will not get -3 charge with sodium. Now let's get C. We have alcohol, carboxylic acid. So all these three functional groups can react with sodium. So -1, -1, -1. So you get an organic ion with the charge of -3. Now let's check reaction with sodium hydroxide. Okay, with sodium hydroxide, alcohol will not react. So won't react, won't react. But this will react to give you a -1 charge here. So overall, reaction with sodium hydroxide, C will produce an organic ion with a charge of -1. So C is the answer. Now, might as well just check answer D also. Answer D, we have alcohol, ketone, aldehyde. These two will not react with sodium or sodium hydroxide. So reaction with sodium will produce an organic ion with a charge of -1 only. So D cannot be the answer. So the answer to this question is C.